the most powerful weapons humans have ever built is the hydrogen bomb. But there is something in our sky that is far more powerful. That object is the sun. And it's basically a hydrogen bomb exploding every second for 4.6 billion years. So, why hasn't it destroyed the solar system? That is question 1. But there is a part that doesn't make sense. Fire cannot burn without oxygen, and space has no oxygen since it's a vacuum. So, how has the sun been burning for 4.6 billion years? That is question 2. Luckily for you, I have the answers, so stick around to find out. If you are a new viewer, then welcome to Global Door. We are on the road to 500 subscribers, so do me a favor by hitting that subscribe button. It does help me a lot. Okay, let's get after it. Deep inside the sun's core, temperatures can reach about 15 million degrees Celsius. Under this extreme heat and pressure, hydrogen atoms collide and fuse together. This process is called nuclear fusion. When hydrogen nuclei fuse into helium, a tiny amount of matter disappears and becomes pure energy. The energy follows the Albert Einstein's famous equation E is equals to mc squared, where E represents energy, m represents mass, and c represents the speed of light in a vacuum, which is 300,000 meters per second. So, inside the sun, nuclear fusion takes place whereby two hydrogen nuclei fuse to form helium. Like this example, this is a hydrogen nuclei, and then there is another hydrogen nuclei. Because inside the sun, temperatures are up to 15 million degrees Celsius, and also there is pressure. There is pressure inside the sun, specifically in the core. So due to this intense heat and due to this intense pressure, these two nuclei of hydrogen are forced to collide together. They are forced to collide together, forming helium. Forming helium. So when these two hydrogen nuclei combine to form helium, they release energy. They release energy. Now this energy is what we are calling the missing mass. Now this missing mass is what is being calculated by Albert Einstein's formula, where E is equals to mc squared, where E is energy, m is mass, and c is the speed of light. The speed of light in space, which is 300,000 meters per second. You've seen the process? Now this energy is what reaches Earth. This energy is what reaches Earth. Now it reaches Earth in form of light. It reaches Earth in form of light. Also it reaches Earth in form of heat, and also in form of radiation. So this energy that comes to Earth through this process is what we feel as light, the sunlight that we feel when the sun rises in the morning, the heat that we feel during the day, or the warmth that we feel during the day, and also radiation, which is ultraviolet light, etc., etc. Now, this energy takes 150 or travels 150 million kilometers to Earth, and it only takes 8 minutes to reach here. But if the sun is basically running the same reaction as a hydrogen bomb, why doesn't it explode? The answer is balance. You see, gravity pulls all of the sun's material inward, trying to collapse it, and nuclear fusion reactions push outward with enormous pressure. When these two forces balance perfectly, the star reaches hydrostatic equilibrium. That balance keeps the sun stable. I'm going to show you a simple illustration of this. To explain this further, we are going to do a simple experiment. This experiment is called the anti-gravity bottle, and these two things represent the sun's core. This glass represents the sun's core, and also this cardboard represents the sun's core. Now, how this works is whereby I'll put this on top and then I'll flip it upside down, and what happens is that this water will not fall down because there are two forces that are acting in this setup, and that is gravity force, the gravitational force going downwards, and then there is atmospheric pressure going up. And some of you might ask, what is air pressure? You see, air is not empty. Air is made up of tiny molecules. These tiny molecules move very fast and they collide with everything in their path. They collide with our skin, they collide with water, they collide with the walls, they collide with everything. Now, when they collide with the wall, the skin, and everything that they find in their path, they exert a tiny push. Now, these molecules, when they are many, we call them air pressure, and air pressure is measured at the sea level. It is measured at 1001 pascals. Now, in this simple demonstration, we are going to see how these two forces will cancel each other. Okay, now here's the setup. I hope this works first time. Now, as you can see, gravity is trying to push the water down, but then air pressure from underneath the cardboard is pushing upwards those tiny molecules I have told you about. Now, these forces balance each other and they cancel out. That's why even though the cardboard isn't glued to this glass, it just it holds the water in and the water does not fall. Now, this is the same thing that is happening in the sun. The gravity is trying to make the sun collide in itself, but then nuclear fusion is trying to expand outwards, and when those two forces meet one another, they cancel each one out. That's why the sun hasn't exploded for 4.3 billion years, and that's how the sun gives us warmth, light, and everything we need for survival back here on Earth. So as you can see the setup, the two forces have cancelled each other out. Now, when that equilibrium is not balanced, as I will show you, then the forces will not cancel each other out and it will be a catastrophe. So, for example, there is an external force applied like this. You see the setup has failed. So I hope this has explained how, in simpler terms, it has explained why the sun hasn't exploded in 4.3 billion years. Yet the sun is a hydrogen bomb. It's basically a hydrogen bomb because the process that happens inside the core of the sun is what happens inside the core of a hydrogen bomb. So guys, I hope this video has been educative. So guys, do hit that subscribe button. It does help me a lot to continue bringing such awesome videos. Okay guys, see you in the next.